like, well, weird. Okay, whatever. I see me in one pane as if I have two sessions going, and then I'm speaking in a different pane. But it's all right. I don't need to keep track.
That's weird.
Oh, wait there. Maybe that's it.
I, yeah, I asked, I clicked a button. Maybe that made a difference.
Well, that's all right. You don't need to see me. It's fine.
Yeah, it says you're showing a video, but it's all black.
There's Scott. Yeah, weird.
Right. We're still waiting on Megan, but I have to read the opener on the agenda, so I think we'll
Sure.
just get started. I'm hoping this will be quick. Um, so, all right. Good evening and welcome to the Taxation Aid Committee meeting. It is Thursday, 9/28 at 5:34 p.m. This meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will be broadcast and live recorded on eCat. To use Zoom, you will need to use the link on the agenda or download the Zoom application at zoom.us and create an account, or use one of the call-in numbers listed on the agenda. You will need the webinar ID to join by phone only. While conducting meetings remotely, we will endeavor to keep meeting operations as close to our standard procedures as possible. However, use of this platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. While the board members and applicants will be on video, the public participants will join the webinar as attendee, meaning they are muted with no video feed from them. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized using the raise hand function found under participants from Zoom, or make a request with the Q&A function. If you're joining by phone only, you can press *9 to raise your hand. If an applicant wishes to display materials, please make the request of the chair and email materials to the board staff for sharing on screen. When starting testimony, please say your name and address for the record. There is a markup function in Zoom which will allow you to call out specific areas of presentation materials. As in any public meeting, indecent behavior will not be tolerated, and anyone who abuses the use of this meeting platform will be terminated from the meeting. Business will be handled at all times indicated on the agenda. Business not concluded in the allotted time will be tabled to the end of the meeting to allow for timely logins and remote attendance. Board members are asked to announce themselves when making a motion and a second so that it be clear to the audience and minute takers who made the motions. All votes will be by roll call. When all business indicated on the agenda has been completed, the members will vote to adjourn the meeting, signaling the end of the meeting and the termination of the eCat recording. All participants will be disconnected from the webinar at that time. Applicants will join the webinar as attendee and be promoted to panelists as their agenda item. Applicants will then be able to share their screens and present materials. As much as possible, presentation materials should be provided beforehand so the materials can be included in the public record. Individual board chair and staff may wish to keep sharing to their computer. Applicants are encouraged to speak with staff prior to the meeting on how material will be presented. Okay. Still no Megan, but it's been about 7 minutes, so I think we should just keep moving. Since we have a quorum. So the first item on the agenda, let me open the agenda. All right. First item on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes from 9:14. I apologize because I just sent that to you guys like 30 minutes ago. Did you guys get it?
I actually did not. Hold on one second. Um, not sure I can do what I'm trying to do, but hold on one second.
Sure.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I know what I can do. Please hold. Instead of confusing my computer. Megan did email us saying that she doesn't have the link for the meeting, which is
No.
weird. It was in the agenda.
Okay.
Um,
Can you respond to her with that, or do you want me to do it if you're trying to do something else?
yep, hold on. Can someone, let me see.
I got it.
Actually, I'm on my phone, Andrew.
Yeah, I got
So
it.
I don't, it's a little bit more difficult for me to get back to sent items to
That's okay.
send the agenda.
That's okay. I'm already doing it.
Oops.
So let me know if you're able to find those minutes.
I did find them and I did review them. And if we can, I would move to accept them as written, the meetings of 9/14/23 as written.
Right. I second, and then roll call vote. Scott. Oh, you're on mute, Scott.
Aye, Timothy.
Andrew Fleischer, aye.
Hawks, aye.
Oh, perfect timing. All right, here comes Megan, which is good timing because she wasn't there for the last meeting, so I don't think she needs to approve the meetings. Hey, Megan, how are you?
Good. I'm not coming up on the video, but I am here. I can see you and I can see
Yeah,
Scott.
I think I can change that.
I didn't get the link, so I'm sorry for my tardiness.
That's okay. There we go.
Hello.
Hi, nice haircut.
Oh, thanks.
That's new, right?
Yeah.
Or at least from June.
Yeah. No, it's a couple of days.
Oh, okay.
So I chopped it all off. Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you. I
So
approved the meeting. I read over the meeting minutes and I approve. Megan
excellent.
approved.
Excellent. Okay. So it's good timing. That's all we've done so far. So the next item was to reorganize the committee if necessary. We kind of discussed this briefly last time. We are currently down one member because of Cometa's vacancy. So
Okay. I didn't realize she wasn't returning.
She had told us that she was planning on it, but the town clerk told me that she did not respond. And
Oh,
then I
okay.
emailed her and she did not respond to me either. So so her term expired.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so we don't need to reorganize unless we want to. So my thought was that we could just not vote on it for now, and then if we get a third member, then we can reorganize and vote on, you know, chair and vice chair. But I figured unless you would like, unless
You're doing
anyone
such
would
a
like
great
to
job,
vote.
Andrew. I think you should stay as chair. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, so we could either vote on it or just wait until we get a third member.
I think
And
we should wait until we have more members.
I agree.
I
That's my
agree
opinion.
with you.
I agree. And we'll see what happens with that. So,
Mhm.
all right. So next on the agenda is kind of a rehash. I don't think we need to discuss an update on the balance, Linda, unless that has changed from the last meeting.
There has not been any change since 9/14.
Okay. So the amount that was in the minutes from earlier is the same. I think it was
Yep.
like 9,400.
I'd have to look at the minutes, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was give or take
9,400.
$9,400.
It was 9744.86.
Okay.
I knew there was a 9 and a 4.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so the next item is kind of an update of on the conversation we had last week or 2 weeks ago about adding a dedicated bank account for the taxation aid fund.
Yeah.
Linda, I don't know if you have any updates from that.
I have not had an opportunity to get the bank account opened, but what's been keeping me busy lately is all of my annual reports are due to the state by September 30th. So one of those reports is listing all of my bank accounts and all of the interest rates that we've received for the last 12 months. And so I originally thought I would park the money in Bristol County Savings Bank, but I think I can get a better deal with either Eastern Bank or the old Bluestone Bank, which is, well, it is Bluestone now. It used to be Mansfield Bank, but Bluestone now. So, but I haven't opened any account.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, whatever high yield account you can, or any yield account.
Yeah, it won't be
doesn't
high
matter
yield
to
because I'm
me.
restricted by the law in how I where I put which banks I put these funds in.
Okay.
So, but I'll find a place that has a money market. Hopefully, unless the minimum is going to be too high, I'll talk to the bankers and see if we can combine balances to do something. And that'll give me the best interest rate that I can see so far, anyways.
So before you were unsure if we could use a money market for public funds, is that?
Yeah, I think we can.
We can.
Yep.
That's
I have
great.
to just double check that but yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, I figured that would be the best option because we would probably only do a handful of transactions a year.
Yes.
And that way we could get a slightly higher rate.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. So please move forward with that and let us know how it works out and what we land and
Yep.
all right.
And just remember, Megan, I'm not sure you were here the last time. When we open the bank account, it's not a bank account that money will go into automatically. I have to manually transfer funds into it periodically. I don't do that every week or even every month. I true up my accounts usually quarterly. And I do transfers. So we won't be able to capitalize on the higher interest always, but at least periodically.
Great. That sounds great. I mean, it's a lot of work, so I think that's great.
Yeah, the hope is that we can at least get enough interest to kind of fund our mailings that we do
Yeah,
once or twice a year, just to kind of offset that cost so that all the money we raise through donations is just, for taxpayer relief.
yeah, exactly.
Right. So the big item on the agenda is to review and discuss and vote on changes to the application for FY24. So I'm going to share my screen, and I think we only made two real changes, but as I had mentioned in previous meetings, I would like, I think we've operated really well on consensus in this committee, so I'd like to kind of continue that. So if anybody has anything in the application that they would like change, now's the time to bring it up and discuss it, and then we're going to vote on it. And then we'll adhere to those criteria come application review, and then we can start accepting applicants for the fall. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so everyone see that?
Yes.
All right, so this is the updated area median income. I was able to get on to HUD after our meeting. I know we were having trouble. And this is the link to the database, and then this is just clarifying what metro area we used.
Yeah.
I
think
never
that'll
really
make it
thought
so
of
much
Easton
easier.
and Raynham as a metro area.
That'll make it easier in the future to just update the numbers as those numbers get updated.
Exactly, yeah. And then if anyone questions it, they can go right out there and find it. So they're up a couple grand in each category, maybe 5,000 in each category, give or take. And this is at 80% over last year. The other than that, I just changed a lot of the dates. We had discussed applications would be due by the 17th, and we would make a decision by January of 2024. The other changes that I made were I updated the contact information since Corey and Cometa are gone. And here, this was the line that Linda wanted to add. So I let me know what you think of the language. So, and we
I like
can
that.
put it in a different spot. 100,000 in aid for the FY24 application process is made available from the federal government via the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. These funds will expire at the end of June 2024. Going forward, the Taxation Aid Fund will be fully dependent upon citizen donations. I don't know if anyone will read that line, but at least it's in there so that they.
Yep.
Is it highlighted, or did we just do that for our benefit, our purposes? Or did you highlight it in the application?
I just the highlights are for my benefit, your benefit, to know what I changed. I was going to leave it bold.
Yeah.
I was going to leave it bold to hopefully draw some attention. I'm going to bolden this line, and then we can just be the only thing on that page.
Okay.
So other than that, I didn't make any other from last year other than the dates. So there the spot to list the owner, the other adults residing, the income for both applicants and other adults. And then, as we added last year, is the attestation that if you didn't provide an income tax return, that you were not required to file for 2022. So does anyone have any thoughts on anything in the application or want me to go over anything in the application?
Andrew, since this is my first time actually going through, I think I was one of the first people, and then Mike McKenna came on, and then Ray came on. But if we go to page 1 of the guidelines and application for FY24, then on to bullet number 4. Applicants must have lived in Easton and held title to the tax property for 1 or more years at the time of the application.
Yep.
Where did that 1 or more years come from?
That was a decision by us as a committee. We had looked at different applications at the time, what other communities were doing. And I think our decision was, or to speak for myself, my thought was that we didn't want to limit ourselves based on who we could give aid to. So we picked 1 or more year. Some other towns were using 5, 10 years. But I think, at least for the ARPA applications, it's best to cast a wide net because we have so much money to give out. So that was kind of the idea behind it.
All right. The only reason I'm even asking that is because I just dealt in Easton with a senior means test. And the senior means test required that the person who was applying for a senior means test, they had to be a town resident and the homeowner for 10 years or more. So, I guess from the principle of consistency, that's why I honed right in on the 1 or more years, whereas the senior means test was 10 or more. So that just was a red flag to me. So I just wanted to understand where that came from. That's all.
Yeah. We're allowed,
because of the ARPA funds, we didn't even give away the full amount last time. We're just trying to give all we'd like to roll out of this with, a 0 bank balance. Yeah. So I think that was part of it too, is that once the ARPA funds were in play, we wanted to make sure that if someone really needed the money, regardless of whether they lived in town for 10 years or, over a year, that we would be able to include them just to get rid of the money. I think once we don't have ARPA funds anymore, I think we should go back and revisit that just because it's, we have $9,400 at this time, so we won't be able to give out all this money that we actually have at the moment. That was, I think that's where my thought process is. Yeah. Yes. Once we're doing it off the backs of the residents of town and not the federal government, then we can tighten up, a lot of different things.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you, Scott? Do you agree with that or disagree?
Well, to be honest with you, when I was looking at the senior means test, I was like, oh my God, 10 years. Oh my God.
I think that's a long time.
It is a long time.
It's a long time. But there's reasons for it to be. My question, Linda.
You don't want someone just rolling into town and then our town giving them benefits from our town, but this isn't money that's from our taxpayer. On the backs of the taxpayer for whatever tax.
To make just so that we're all clear, for this application, we're allowed to set the criteria from the state. The rules of the fund allow the committee to set the criteria. Just so we don't have to use, we can do what we want.
State guidelines, right?
Yeah.
It's at our discretion.
Just to be, yeah, just so that everybody's clear on that.
Just, that's where that question of mine came from.
Yeah.
Linda, do the ARPA funds roll, or what's left at the end of the year just disappears, just goes away?
No, they don't roll because it's a reimbursement thing. So whatever we give out, we submit an application to get reimbursed for it. So there's no rolling over.
Okay.
The select board has sort of earmarked $100,000 a year for fiscal year 23 and 24. But like Megan said, we weren't able to use all of it last year. And it's not that it doesn't roll, it's just that we have to apply for it, whatever we spend.
Okay. All
We
right.
have to have the people who we're
do-
going to give it to before we can even apply. We can even apply to get the money, correct, Linda? I mean, we
Yes.
have to,
Yes.
Mhm.
Scott, do you know if the other exemptions require a 10-year residency or have
No.
a 10-year residency requirement?
No, to be honest with you, Linda,
Okay.
I was taken aback with the 10-year requirement for
Yeah.
the senior test. And
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It's the new one, and it is pretty extreme, but yeah.
yeah, it opened my eyes pretty wide, and that's why when I
Yes.
was at I'm like, wow, holy smokes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It
I mean,
is.
at the end of the day, at the end of the last time we dispersed funds, I think pretty much, I'd say what, 95%, maybe 98% of the people who we gave the money to have lived here for a very long time.
Yes.
A
Yes.
very, very long time.
Yep.
It wasn't just someone
The
rolling.
majority, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only other question I had on this page was the very last bullet, Andrew. All information supplied to the committee will be held in the strictest of confidence. And right above there, it talks about the 22 federal income tax submission. Where is that documentation held? Who's the keeper of those records?
Linda?
I keep them.
Oh, okay, perfect. I just
I keep
wasn't.
them, and to tell you the truth, I'll shred them after another year.
Yeah.
There's no, I didn't want to get rid of too much because so many people come in and say, well, I already gave you my 2022 returns. And I pretty consistently tell everybody, yeah, well, you got to do it again. Because I don't want to flip through 65 applications to find, 10 people's worth of 2022 returns or whatever.
No, I get it.
But to be honest, there's times when it's just much easier just to go into the pile and find it. But after we get through this crush of the ARPA funds, I will shred whatever we have.
Yep. Okay. I was just curious on that. As I said, this is my first time through it, so I figured I'd ask these questions.
Of course.
Please do. It refreshes all of us as well. Like it's good.
And are we okay to move on to the application now, or anybody ever have any other questions on the very first page that we just went over?
No, I think we're good.
As I went through the application, guys, do the owners of records, do we verify that they are the owners of the property via the deeds?
Well, if you file a tax, you probably know better than me, Andrew, but if you file a tax return and we see that tax return, I mean, it's.
No, well, Linda, you pull up the records there in the office.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the tax records.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so and we've run into a couple. We have run into a couple of occasions where the applicant is not the owner. Specifically, I'm thinking of the person who had the trust, and she wasn't the trustee, she wasn't the beneficiary, she was just the person who got to live in the house.
That's usually the gray area.
Right. So we are making sure that the people actually own it and they have an ownership interest in it.
I mean, the only reason I ask that is because, Linda, I'm sure you see it all the time, because I know I do. I see some absolutely off the wall crazy things
Yeah,
that look so plain as day, and they turn into, wow, this person doesn't even own the property. Or
right,
what I run into more is, oh my God, this is a second home to this person.
Mm.
So,
right.
but I highly doubt would run into a situation like that here in Easton, but I just wanted to question that. So that's another box I can check there. Um, and my last question is
Yeah.
on the savings, CDs, IRAs, stocks and bonds. Um, uh, not having seen what is submitted to this committee yet, um, do they provide any documentation, or is this kind of like the honor system where
This
they
is Yeah,
where they attend?
sorry to cut you off, but yeah, it's the honor system. The main backup that we look for is the income,
Yep.
and I don't think we do scrutinize, we do scrutinize some of the information provided in this category.
Yep.
But I think the main thing that we've been scrutinizing recently is the income.
Yep.
Um, and again, we're kind of trying to reach as many people as possible. So not to speak for anyone else, but my opinion has generally been that if their income's under the limit, we should try our best to move forward and give them a grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
I
This
think there
is
were
the
a
honor
couple of
system, but we
occasions.
don't
There were
yeah,
a
I
couple
mean
of
people.
occasions where they had I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
go
you.
ahead, go ahead.
There were a couple of occasions where people did have, a fairly high amount in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and IRAs, where we did, because their income was, they were retired or whatever. But if they had a lot of money, I don't remember what it was, but it was significant, and I don't remember the exact case, but it was a significant amount of money in those places where we
Yeah.
said, well, that's kind of suspect.
Right.
I can't remember whether we okayed it. I think we didn't. I think we did not
Okay.
accept their application.
Okay.
Do you remember that, Andrew? Just like there was like
I
one,
do.
maybe
I do
two.
recall that instance.
Yeah.
I don't know how we voted
I
either.
know,
That
I
might have
forget
been
how
two
we
years
voted as
ago.
well.
Yeah.
Right, I know, I forget too, but I think we didn't, I think we said no. I think we said, come on.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean,
and I
a lot
think
of
this is a
people,
part of the I think this is a part of the application we're probably going to pay a lot more attention to next year,
Right,
when we don't have ARPA funds, because
right.
we're gonna have to separate. We're gonna have to be a little more scrupulous, scrutinize these applications a little more, because we're gonna have a lot less money to give out.
Mhm.
So that this part of the application is going to be a little more important. My opinion in general on information provided on this application is, if you're lying, it's fraud, and you're signing it, and you're getting money from it. So that's kind of my opinion. So I think right now all I'm concerned about verifying is like the ownership and the income, and then the rest of it, um you better be truthful. But it's like, I don't know, I'm sure people lie on their taxes and everything. So you know
Linda,
We're trying to
Linda,
make this a good faith program. We're doing it in good faith
yeah, as best we can.
as best we can.
Linda, do you work in conjunction with the assessor's office, as far as the 17Es and the 41Ds and senior?
No, no, I only see it after the fact.
Okay.
I mean, I see it on their tax bills, of course, but I don't work with them any other way.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Separation of duties.
No, I get it. I get it. I get it. Well, that's pretty much all I had. I mean, I thought it looked pretty comprehensive, and it needed to be. So I think you guys did a nice job.
Thank you. It hasn't
Thank
changed
you.
that much since you weighed in on the initial application, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You can pat yourself on the back too.
Give it all to you guys.
Yeah, so I personally don't have any other changes that I would like to suggest. The only thing that we've kind of run into that's been a pain is the trust issue, houses held in trust. But I think we've done okay at addressing that as it comes up. So I don't know that anything needs to be put in the application, but that to me is the only hurdle that we've had a lot recently. So does anyone else have any suggestions for changes or questions?
Again, I think while we have this ARPA money, I think it ran pretty well last year. Again, when
Yep.
it comes to the future, again, we don't have the money. I think we should revisit maybe, a few things, and then just get really like dial down.
I agree. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, like if you have a house in a trust, maybe that's an exclusion, just because it's too much for us. We're not, we're not lawyers, like that. We're not sleuths. Like if your house is in a trust, I just think that, it just
Yep,
becomes
I
way
agree.
too complicated for us lowly, people who are not in the know in
Mhm.
regards to that type of situation. But that's a thought off the top of my head, not really a well thought out thought. So I just think that we should keep it as is this year, and then again, when we don't have those funds, I think we can revisit exactly what our criteria is.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think that's all I had, Andrew.
All right, let's would anyone like to make a motion that we accept this application as written for the 2024 tax year?
I make the motion to say yes to this application for this year.
I second that.
Okay. Roll call vote. Andrew Fleischer, aye.
Megan
Timothy.
Ferguson, aye.
Timothy, I.
Hawks eye.
Okay, great. I'll stop sharing. So that's kind of it for the agenda items, but we do have some things that fall kind of under the, this kind of falls under the application discussion. So I want to just talk about when I want to set some meetings to review applications. And I also want to talk about kind of the outreach of getting these applications out there. So what I have done the past couple rounds, I'll continue to do. So we're going to put this on the website. We're going to put it on social media and on a couple newsletters in town if we can. That's about as far as the outreach kind of gets.
Has Corey been replaced? Linda, do you know?
Linda, you're on mute. I don't know
Yep,
if you're
sorry,
trying
what
to-
did you say, Megan?
Has his position been replaced, or is
There's
it
a temporary person in there that's only working a few hours a week.
okay?
I know that once Corey gets settled, he did express an interest in maybe being appointed to the committee, but he has to
Oh,
get
good.
himself settled in his new job first.
Yeah, no, that makes
So
sense.
I
It's a
I
big
did
jump.
wonder, was Andrew, was it you or Corey who updated the website?
It was Corey.
Then
I was
I
just
can,
gonna email people until they answer, until I found the right person.
so
Um,
I'll update the website, and I'll
okay,
put the new application on, and there's a couple dates on there that I'll make sure get updated to
that would be
reflect
great.
our new things. And then what I've done in the past is I've just taken the spreadsheet of all of the people who applied, had a bunch of labels printed out, and then I mailed them another application. And
I think the word is out there. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we got a fair number of applications. It's not.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be good if you could send out those letters,
Yep.
like you have in the past. The other thing I was going to do, I haven't spoken to anyone about this yet, but on an annual basis, I'm required to go as the chair. I'm required to go before the select board and give them an update. The past couple of years, we did it in the middle of the summer, but this year I kind of purposely waited till we had this meeting to solidify the application and the dates for applying. So that, if anyone's paying attention to the select board meetings, they would know, that the application process is open. So I'm gonna try and do that in the next month or two. I don't know. I haven't reached out to anybody yet. But I will let you all know when I do that, and you're welcome to come to the meeting with me.
Okay, great.
But I figured that would be better timing, because that way, and I'm also going to mention the fact kind of that we need some donations. So I'll be talking about that as well,
Yeah.
and I want to, why, if and when I have their attention, I want to highlight the fact that we're losing. We've been able to give out, I don't know, around $80,000 last year,
yeah.
and probably about the same this year, and we're going to lose that. And there's still the need. So that's kind of what I want to highlight. When I have a minute to talk about it. So because I think we're gonna have to do a pivot as a committee. We're gonna have to focus probably more on finding ways to get more money, on being a little more having more scrutiny when it comes to the applications. We're kind of just gonna have to change our approach a little bit.
Yep.
Linda, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Go
Linda,
ahead.
how did we get this grant money? Like, what is there a grant writer in the town that goes after grants like this? Or did it just sort of was it COVID? I think it was COVID related, if I remember correctly.
You mean the
Right.
ARPA money?
Yeah, the ARPA money. I
So
know
the
that
ARPA money was every city and town got a portion of the money from the federal government through the counties.
Okay.
I think that Easton got, I want to say 3 million, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect you to know that.
And it can only be used for certain purposes. Right from the get-go, the select board and the town administrator wanted to get some money out to the most, there's a clause in the requirements or the regulations that says you can give direct assistance to families impacted by COVID. And that's the clause that we're operating under.
Okay.
But because it's being administered through the Taxation Aid Committee, we are restricted to only helping elderly and disabled and veterans. So, it's not exactly direct assistance to households, but by the same token, your lowest income people are gonna be the most impacted usually.
Right.
And the federal government seems to agree, so
Yeah. Yeah, the idea was to target people disproportionately affected by COVID. So
correct.
Right. Yeah.
senior citizens.
So unless some other need, so as far
I'm
as a
just wondering if we
grant
could-
goes,
Could
that,
go
that's it.
after
It'll just
you know, in
end.
the future from the
Yeah.
town. That was really where my head was
Ye-
going.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any grants that a
Mhm.
person could have, or a town or a committee or an organization could
Right.
apply for that would serve the same purpose, but that doesn't
Mhm.
mean they don't exist.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
mean, my hope is to kind of put it out as a challenge to anybody who's at the select board meeting is, you know, come to me with ideas because, you know, we've done good operating with the ARPA money, but now we're at a point where we need to think outside the box, and this is something where I don't have any good ideas. I don't have any grand solution other than asking for money from people, with the mailers, and then maybe trying to do a fundraiser, but fundraisers won't get us that much money. So I kind of want to, pick people's brains a little bit and see if they have any ideas. So if you guys think of anything,
I mean, I think grants are the way to go.
Yeah.
But we would need someone to research and write those grants.
Yeah, let me jot that down.
The people to ask are the board of selectmen, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we must have people who research grants for the town and write grant applications.
For sure. That's a good idea.
Know.
Yeah. There must be. Yeah, when I worked with the city of Brockton, there were a handful of people who did it for different
dedicated to it.
So yeah, there must be on a smaller scale something here.
Right.
That's a good idea. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was our next meeting, or I want to set up some meetings for application review. Two meetings I think would be good, maybe in the same week or not. So if you guys want to pull out your calendars, and Linda, I'm going to rely on, now that we don't, I'm going to rely on you to let me know when, how long you think it'll take to turn around the applications, because I know it's a lengthy process, and you have a lot going on other than this. So, do you think it would be better to meet in December, or do you think it would be better to meet in January, give them more time? Last time we got like 80 applications. I know we weren't really expecting it.
I would propose a meeting date of at least December 7th or 14th.
Okay.
If I can't get all, if we get 100 applications and we're not going to get through 100 anyways. So even if I get it well started with 40 or 50, I'd be a little surprised, but the holidays are hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how about we could do, because this is kind of what we did last time, but we can do it we don't have to do it all in 1 week. I just kind of had a rip the Band-Aid kind of approach. So we could do Tuesday the 12th and Thursday the 14th of December, and get it all done then, and then have a meeting maybe after the holidays to review, a meeting in early January to review people's responses when we have questions. But we don't have to schedule that one yet. So what do you guys think about the 12th and the 14th?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I would say Scott, do you have to drive from, is it Marshfield or Duxbury?
No.
One of them?
free, and normally I have a board meeting on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
But what time would you normally meet?
We tried to do it early, like 5:30, and we did it in person at the Frottingham Hall, the 15 Barrows Road.
All right,
But we can change it, we can curtail it how you need.
no, I mean, if we're gonna settle on a Tuesday, the 12th of December,
Mm-hmm.
that's plenty of lead time. I can have one of the other people in the office run the board meeting,
Okay.
so
We
it should be.
we can also do back-to-back Thursdays if
I
you'd
think
like.
we're pretty flexible, Scott. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
we're
screw up your
flexible.
schedule.
Okay, I mean, if you want to do the Thursdays, that's great. If that
Okay.
works with there.
So we could do the 7th and we could do the 7th and the 14th. I don't want to grab the 21st because that's too close.
That's getting too close.
That's too close. So, all right, how about the 7th and the 14th at 5:30 at Frottingham Hall?
Okay,
And does that work for everybody?
Yep.
yep,
Linda, since you we don't have to set the agenda now because it's so far away. I guess I set a reminder on my calendar, but yeah, I'll set a I'll remind myself to go over this when we get closer because
Okay.
we'll just need to book. I don't know that anyone else books that room, but we just need to book that room and then set the agenda, which is our unless something comes up between now and then, it's only going to be moved to executive session.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
And
I'll remind us when we get closer. So,
Andrew, the deadline on that is November 17th, according to the document here.
yeah, the deadline. So the deadline for people to apply is November 17th.
Okay.
So that would give just under 3 weeks for Linda and Linda's office to kind of put everything together, or at least half of it together. And
Yep.
Linda, if you need help, just let us know. I mean, I can come make copies.
Yep. And the
I'm
people
not
at
above that.
Frothingham have
I can
offered
as
to.
well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Might
because I
take
know a lot of
everybody
this.
up on that.
I know a lot of this outside of this meeting just kind of falls on you. So, we're happy to help.
Okay.
And let us know sooner. Like if the 17th rolls around and you're inundated and the situation has changed, we can talk about changing the meetings and
Okay.
do whatever we need.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else from anybody on anything?
No, I'm good.
Me?
Okay. I move that we.
I think maybe to try and find some more members when you go before the Board of Selectmen, it might be a nice time to mention that as well.
Yeah. My hope is Corey, sincerely. So I think, and if Corey's position is filled full time, that person could take Corey's role of kind of being like the liaison.
Mm-hmm.
And but my thought was that I would give Corey a month at his new job and then I would harass him about joining, because I think starting a new job is stressful. But I said I gave him a little pitch. I said, if we you don't have to do anything until we meet in December. You don't have to do anything. We'll take care of that. You sell your job and you let me know. So, and if he decides it's too much or whatever, then at the select board meeting, I would definitely make an appeal for people to apply. It's posted, but I don't know if anybody really looks at that.
I'll reach out to Dottie too.
Yeah.
I talk to her periodically, but yeah.
Right.
Just it'll make this process go much quicker. you know, if we have 100 applications, if we have more, you know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
more hands on deck. And
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're capped at. I don't know if we're.
I thought it was like 5. I thought we were.
No, it's 3. I think we're capped at 3. And
What do you mean? Then that would just be us. You've got to be able to.
well, no, it's the sorry, 3 from the town, and then
Oh,
Linda and the chair of the assessors, which is Scott.
oh, okay. I didn't realize you were in that capacity, Scott. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Scott's the chair of the assessor board, and that changes every year. And then
Okay.
but he's what do they call it, ex officio. And then so is Linda. Yeah, so when I said
knew Linda,
3,
I knew
meant,
Linda was de facto or whatever you want to call it.
yeah, so we're at 4 right now.
Okay.
But we would normally have a third person. We would normally have a
Okay.
third.
I just didn't understand that was Scott's capacity.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so
You know-
normally we'd have a third member from the town, and we'd have someone in Corey's role as like a liaison. So we are short right now.
Okay.
Andrew, can you email me the application so I can put it on the website?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to move that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
A second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Andrew Fleischer, aye.
Ferguson, I.
Timothy, I.
Oxeye.
Okay, great.